NCORE is important because it addresses racism. And you can get through graduate school in academia without ever discussing racism. So NCORE is a place in which, regardless of where you are on that a continuum of understanding how race works in this country, your skills at facilitating dialogue, there's a place for you at NCORE to further your awareness and your skills and your abilities. Academia is overwhelmingly white. Overwhelmingly white people are going to be at the tables making decisions that affect the lives of people who are not at those tables. Most of us who are white have not been exposed to the perspectives or experiences of people of color. And so NCORE is a really powerful place to hear multiple perspectives. And I can tell you, for me as a white person, I was raised not to see myself as having a racial identity, right? I mean, I understood that somebody had race, but not really me. And I definitely was not raised to see it as significant to anything you could know about me. So what if I'm white? What does that have to do with anything? Well, 20 years later, after day in and day out trying to talk to white people and white students and white colleagues about race, I'm really clear that I'm white, and that I have a white frame of reference, a white worldview, and I move through the world with a white experience. And it's not a universal human experience, it's a very particular experience. And the inability to understand that, to think critically about what that means, is not benign or innocent. We bring that inability to the table with us. So in academia, for example, there's a great drive to have more racial diversity. And so perhaps I have colleagues of color, but I've never thought deeply about my own race. I'm gonna not be very skilled at holding an experience that is alternative to mine, right? And so while we may recruit more people of color, we're not going to be very good at retaining them because we bring that lack of criticality to the table with us. And it's one of the more, from my perspective as a white person, subtle ways that everyday, well-intentioned, unaware racism manifests for people of color, for our students of color, for faculty of color. Is that most white people can't think critically about this topic, and so they can't talk to us. So NCORE is a place where we can practice having these conversations, where we can get feedback, where we can be held accountable in compassionate ways, where we can make the mistakes that we need to make. I mean, there are inherent, challenges of that. I mean, at whose cost am I making my mistakes? But it's a kind of container, I think, where people who come here understand we are here specifically to engage with these issues, and we're not going to get that right by everybody, but that is what we need to be doing. And most environments are not set up in a way that would support those kinds of interactions.